Welcome to the TIMFD podcast. Today is my favorite day is about appreciating every day as it comes, no matter what life throws at us. We hope this podcast speaks to you, and if it does, please like, share, and comment. Now let's find out why today is our favorite day this week.
Well, David, welcome back.
Hey, Sam. Today is my favorite day.
Yes.
Hey, we are happy to be alive, right?
Yes, absolutely. Breathing.
It's a good thing. We know God's with us right now. So, Lord, help us as we go through this thing today.
Yes. So our question and topic today, David, is, and the question is, why haven't you done it yet? Based on a biblical look at the Democrats' 2024 presidential platform and what has been said about what is going to be done.
So basically what we did 2 weeks ago was go through the Republican one.
Yes. And
we looked at each one looked at it in a biblical way and said we could agree with this or not, or there's nothing biblical in this and you make your decision. Right? That's what we were looking at.
That's what we're looking at. Yeah.
So what we also used the verse, so we just want to go back to this to be fair. We used the verse Matthew 5:37, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Otherwise, it's evil. And so the goal here for any leader is to speak truth, is to be able to speak what they believe and not try to hide anything or anything like that, and kind of speak it out and let the chips fall where they may, right?
Exactly.
I guess that's where it is.
Yeah, it is.
And so we did that with the Republican side of things. Now, we just finished a debate. We saw that. I think that both of us agree ABC did a horrible job. You could tell that Disney was involved with that. The questions there was not one question on China, anything like that. It's pretty sad.
Typical.
So that's just our opinion. But let your yes be yes and your no be no, and be of integrity is kind of an important thing. So that was not something that was of integrity. So if Fox got the next debate, let's say they do another one, and Fox did that, we'd be drilling them too.
Exactly. Exactly.
Awful.
And anybody who has any experience in debates and things like that, and you go back to, we've been around for a while. So we've seen some real debates.
Yes.
And so, that's what people in our generation are looking for, is real debates, not fluff. And understand, we don't think many politicians tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Okay, so don't misunderstand what we're saying.
Because we're all human beings.
Exactly.
No human being tells the truth all the time. Anybody tells me that, I know they're already lying.
Yeah,
But we should do the best we can to let our yes be yes and no be no. So what we're going to look at is that platform, which is, I think, kind of an interesting platform. And some of it sounds awesome. So, I think it's great. Let's go through this. And you mind if we do that?
No, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, so we could kind of go through this. The first one, it says, build an opportunity economy and lower costs for families. That sounds really good.
Sounds good.
Okay, so let's go through the parts. Okay, so one part is cut taxes for middle-class families.
Well, and they're wanting to cut taxes for middle-class families. I don't think that's a bad idea.
I think it's a great idea.
But when you read it, we have a tax cut, and they're calling it the Trump tax cut, which is set to expire. So our taxes are going to go up the first of the year. So where's the tax cut, and what is
and I think we should say, is our tax cuts biblical? I don't know. I don't know. We're supposed to pay our taxes. We're supposed to, for us, I don't see it as a biblical thing here. I just know that we need to be good with our finances. We've already talked about this. We know the government's horrible with their finances. So giving them more taxes doesn't make sense.
No.
For me and you, we've talked about this, lower government. God being God, not government being God. The more the government wants more taxes, that's a problem. But they say that they're going to lower taxes. Here's my question. Why haven't they done that? She's been in office for 3.5 years with Joe Biden, and they didn't do it.
And
I'm disappointed with that.
Her claim is always, I'm the last person in the room.
Right.
So why haven't they done it?
Right. So I think that's one right there. Make rent affordable and home ownership more attainable. You know a little bit more about this, so can you kind of talk about that?
Whatever. First off, if you look at the underlying side of it, it's a rent control. And it's, if you read it, they want to go in and eliminate the big corporations that own a lot of housing and control the rent prices and stuff like that.
Have the government come in.
Have the government come in and take over.
That's great.
And all that's going to do is raise prices, raise rents,
Well, it puts more responsibility. It gives more responsibility to the government, making the government more than an anti-government. It gives the government more power. As a Christian, I don't want the government having more power.
In anything.
The government should be lower. God needs to have the power, not government.
Yep.
And we don't need the government to tell us how to do rents and buy homes. And please do not give gifts to people who are first, buying homes and giving them $25,000. All they do is just raise it up.
The price. Yeah.
And if you try to control that, you'll ruin the housing market. The guys who are doing this, men and women who are making that business, their business will just leave wherever that is and go somewhere else. Yep. And you'll end up with a crisis. Yep. So for me, again, when the government gets involved with stuff, that is not biblical to me at all. No. Grow small business and invest in entrepreneurs. I think that's a great idea. Good. I think it's awesome.
Where's the money coming from?
Well, why didn't they do that already?
Right.
But it's still a great idea.
It is.
It's just, why haven't they done that already?
Well, and the one thing that they talked about in that, and I've done a little bit of research because I'm involved with a lot of folks who are in business.
Right.
And
the Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce. And they say they're going to do that through the Small Business Administration. Well, once again, it goes back to the question, why haven't they done that yet? Because if that were true, then more people would be qualifying for SBA loans.
Yes.
And they would have a system in place for
it should
folks
already
who
been done.
It should already been done.
That's why we're seeing a trend here. This is a problem that if they used the last 3.5 years and did this, which Bernie Sanders did say something. He did say that Kamala, they were asking, why is she moving over to the middle, so much? And he goes, she's not really doing that. What she's doing is doing it for political reasons.
She's
and
pragmatic.
He was very honest.
He
goes, she's being pragmatic, but then she'll go back to her values because she said her values have never changed. And we'll get to that in just a little bit too. But take on bad actors and bring down costs. Sounds great.
Sounds great. But what she's looking at is who's the bad actors.
She's picking and choosing the bad
actors. And so once again, government saying, David,
you're the bad
actor.
Well, for them it would be grocery stores and those. Their percentage is very much little, and farmers and stuff. They're going after them because they want to say, look, we're going after the big guys because they're raising your costs of food. No, it's because of their energy policies that has made everything skyrocket. And and I have talked about our own budgets. Yeah. Being trounced by this
energy and regulations.
Yeah, and bringing down that she called it stopping the price gouging, right? Yeah. And what she was saying is she's going to do price controls. Yeah. The minute you do that, you end up with inflation. It goes crazy. Bad idea. Don't do it.
Well, Nixon tried it.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah, a Republican tried it and it was bad. It didn't work. Yeah. Strengthen and bring down the cost of health care. My question, because when Obamacare came into being, I had great insurance.
I did too.
Okay, so when
cheap insurance.
When that happened, what happened to your insurance?
Went through the roof.
And mine did too.
The company I was working for was basically self-insured.
Yeah.
Okay, we could no longer afford to do that.
Yeah, we got crushed.
Yeah, and we did. We got crushed. And what happened was the price went up and the services went down.
Yeah.
It's the only way
on X,
happen.
Which was Twitter. On Twitter, I had when the election was coming on, they were doing a debate, and they talked about this healthcare thing, and I said, I don't know about anybody else, but my healthcare skyrocketed after Obamacare came into play, and people start yelling on Twitter, if you call it that, being real mean, and I went, whoa. I'm telling you the truth, what happened. Here's my numbers. I put the numbers out there, and they're going, you're still lying. I'm going, okay, if you don't want to hear real numbers, then that's a problem, But bottom line is, why haven't they done that already? Right. I wish they had, but they didn't.
I do too. And when you talk about healthcare, one of the biggest issues we run into in the States is the cost of medications. Yeah. And my question, and only because it hits me personal, is that a drug like Eliquis, and that's a brand name for a blood thinner, and there are tons of Americans on Eliquis. As far as blood thinners goes, it has the least amount of side effects. It's the most effective.
Right.
However, for a 3-month supply, the gross cost is $1,500. And so, yes, my deductible is a lot less, but that $1,500 goes towards, if you're on Medicare, you know that $1,500 goes towards the donut hole. And once you hit the donut hole in 2 quarters, now you're paying a lot more for your drugs. And I can buy it from Canada, which comes from India, which is where all of it comes from.
Yeah. Well, and that's the funny part here, because they said to protect, strengthen Social Security and Medicare. Great. I mean, to me, okay, and both people do it, and it's already, both sides are doing that. Okay, we'll get past that. Support American innovation workers. Of course, everyone wants to do that. Both sides say they want to do that. How they're doing it, that's another thing altogether.
And one of the things that was in there was this CHIPS Act. She talked about, and here's the thing. Who's the big chip manufacturer? Intel. They got a ton of money.
Okay.
They laid off double-digit thousands of people.
That's what big companies
just
do.
in the last 3 months.
Yeah, I know. And it's funny is a lot of those companies are supporters of the Democratic Party, which
take
is
your
really
money and run.
Provide a pathway to the middle class through quality, affordable education. This is actually sounds really good, but what they're doing is they're going to they want to pay off everybody's student loans and really get college to be free. And college right now is not very useful.
No.
I mean, I have a number of degrees. I paid for them, but I have a number of degrees. And what's interesting is that now people are coming out of debt, like with an education degree, to teach, and they're going to maybe make $50,000 teaching, and they have $200,000 in debt.
Right.
I mean, it's insane.
Yeah.
What's happened is because we do this, you're paying the universities a whole lot more, and the teachers there a lot more. They're making the money.
Right.
The little people aren't, and so that to me that's not how it should be done at all. No. We need to be supportive of education. Both of us are not big on having the Department of Education in Washington D.C. We believe that it should be in local areas.
It should be local and should be controlled locally. And there you run into
small government again.
Small government again. Yeah. And the problem with government-controlled education, it's not education anymore. It's indoctrination.
Correct, and that's the problem.
And that's
why we don't need
scriptural.
that.
That's
it's
not biblical.
Invest in affordable child care and long-term care. It's another freebie. They're getting out. It sounds really good. To me, it's not a high priority at this moment. I know someone may watch that and go, "It's a high priority to me." I get that, but if you can't get energy down and if you can't get this economy rolling again, and we don't close the borders, it doesn't matter anyway. None of this will matter there. And then lower energy costs and tackle the climate crisis. Why haven't they done that? Right. Yep. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Energy costs are skyrocketing.
Well, we sold off over half of our strategic reserve, which last I've heard, we have not started to replace it. I could be wrong on that. I haven't seen anything where we've started to replace it. Yeah. But until we ramp up energy production and restart the pipelines and do things like that, we're not going to be the leader in energy production in the country, in the world.
And so 2 areas where they say safeguard our fundamental freedoms. One freedom is reproductive freedoms, basically abortion. And to have the right to abort a child up to, and in the debate, President Trump asked 7, 8, 9 months, how long do you want this to go? And she never really answered that. And the reason, and that's where the yes is yes and no, if you know. Right. I know people who are total pro-abortion. Yes, right up to birth. I mean, they have the yes, yes, and no. I'm good with that. It's like an atheist. I love when I run into a true atheist because it's such a fun conversation. Right. A true atheist with a true Christian, one that believes that he's going to heaven. It's an awesome conversation. And we don't have to get angry with each other.
The conversation. You don't have to get angry.
No. I know what I believe. You know what you believe. Good. That's it.
Let's have a discussion.
But the yes, yes, no is a problem here. Why don't you just say what you believe? Now, I don't agree with President Trump on abortion, is some of the parts of his view on abortion. I believe, now this is according to Scripture, that every life is important. Every life is important. That means every life in the womb is important. Every mama is important. We must do everything we can to protect both.
Yes.
Right? And so getting into the killing mill of Planned Parenthood. We both believe Planned Parenthood should get no money from the government. Let Zuckerberg and some of the liberals out there pay for it, just like we pay for Oasis Crisis Pregnancy Center. All the churches help support that, and individual people. That we need to get Planned Parenthood again, smaller government, out.
Yeah.
Let God be God, not the government be God.
Yes.
Second one is protect civil rights and freedoms. That sounds really awesome until you get to it, which has all to do with the LGBTQ, community. They say community. It's people who are living lives that are against biblical principles on sexual sin. By the way, we all most do that. Yep. You have people again porn. You look at a woman wrong. Yep. You dream about a woman or whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Sexual sin is sexual sin.
Yes, but we have to say, I got that. I'm dealing with that. I'm helping God help me. You don't say this is who I am.
Right.
That's not who you are. You are a child of God, created in His image, and He wants you to live a life that be best for you. And that's the tragedy behind this. So, of course, for us, no. Yeah. I mean, biblically, we can't stand
on that
at all. And we don't want it in our public schools, and we don't want, the gender stuff going in our sports. We've already talked about this stuff. Yeah. It's just be sane in this area, and that's a very dangerous. So if you're a Christian and you're saying the Bible is your sole authority, there's no way you could vote for that. Right. There's either one of those.
No.
You cannot vote for that.
Yeah.
Now, if you say you're a Christian but you don't believe the Bible to be true, then I would challenge your faith, because the Bible talks about the Bible to be the sole authority of our decision making. So that you got to really look in your own heart for that. If you were sitting down with me, I'd say you really need to look. Do you really believe this? Because if your root is not in that, then you're just believing whatever you want to believe. And that's good for you until you get in front of Jesus.
Yeah.
And that's my job, is to tell you scripturally what's going on.
Right.
Ensure safety and justice for all. It says make our communities safer from gun violence and crime.
Well,
I mean, we would love to do that.
We'd love to do that. And you can't, on one hand...
Biblically, we're supposed to protect people.
Yes, we are. We are supposed to protect people.
And our nation's supposed to be protecting our people.
But you can't send bail money to people who burn down cities. No,
which is what, unfortunately, Kamala Harris did
during the riots, and then say, you want to protect our people. The other thing is that she has been quoted time and time and time again about mandatory gun buybacks.
Right. No, that's not going to ever happen in the United States.
And but then she says in the debate, Tim Walz and I are both gun owners.
Gun owners, yeah.
So,
but she's also the same one that put people in jail for marijuana and then said she smoked marijuana, and laughed about it.
Yeah.
So again, your yes be yes and your no be no. And she has talked about President Trump's philandering around, and he did that.
He did that,
and that is awful.
Yep.
Okay. He's had to make amends with a lot of people. But let's not say that Kamala Harris is some angel. I come from that area. Yeah, she worked up the corporate ladder, if you want to call it in politics, the same way through sexual actions with powerful men.
Yep.
Let's just be blunt and honest about that. And so if people want to avoid that with women, no. If you're going to attack somebody for their moral failure, then you need to admit your own moral failures.
Yes, exactly.
She had an affair with Willie Brown, the mayor of that area,
San Francisco,
and he was married.
Yep.
I mean, come on, let's not.
Well, there's pictures out there all over the place of her with him.
No.
Yeah.
And so we need to deal with that. Secure our borders and fix our broken immigration system.
Well, I can tell you what's wrong with the immigration system. There's too much government.
Yeah.
Okay. The paperwork is horrendous. If you go from if you want to apply for citizenship, you've gotten here legally, you're in the country, and now you want to apply for citizenship, you want to apply for a green card. First off, it's very expensive. Okay. And what's silly is it's expensive, but you can do it all online. And it is initially reviewed by the computer. And the last time we looked at it was like $1,300 for one form. There is a correct process, but they are deadlocked. They are backlogged. And I understand that. So you could streamline it, but you can't, on one hand, bring people from all these other countries in.
They're not bringing them in; they're letting them in. We have a border that is a sieve.
Actually, I think it's an open bottom bucket.
It's insane.
And but yet you have other people who are here legally, trying to better themselves.
And we have a number of people in our church that have come in here and have come legally and actually have become citizens.
Yep.
It took some time, but they got there.
And wholly productive citizens and paying taxes and all that kind of stuff. And so we support them. right?
Yeah, of course.
And but there needs to be an easier way or less paperwork way.
Well, and then the bottom line right now is that why? My question is going to be, why didn't they close the borders already? They didn't do it for almost 3.5 years, and then they're saying they're doing it, but they're not. Even the Border Patrol endorsed Trump. Yeah. And they said these guys do not have their yes, yes, and no, no. Yeah. So for me, on that particular thing, yes, anything that's broken on the immigration system, on the legal end, clean it up, figure it out, do that.
But close the border.
But you got to close the border, and you got to get people who are illegally in here out. And that's because they're illegally here.
Northern border and the southern border.
Yes, of course. And then the same issue, tackle the opioid fentanyl crisis. For me, why didn't you do it? Why haven't you done it already? Trump was really big on that when he was in office because he had a brother that died of drug and alcohol abuse. They didn't close the border, so you can't stop this.
Well, and the other thing is that her idea on drug offenses is we need to have a conversation about possession for personal use.
Yes, legalizing it all.
Legalizing it all.
Yes. Yeah, and then a lot of death. And so, again, why haven't they done this? Why didn't Kamala Harris do this while she was in office?
And she's still in office. And she could do it today.
She could do it today. She could sign a paper and do it today. Ensure no one is above the law. We both agree with that. According to Scripture, no one should be above the law. And that includes the lawmakers who are doing a lot of stuff that is not right in the last 3 years.
Yep.
We have seen a president who's been attacked, an ex-president being attacked over and over again from frivolous lawsuits all over the place, when others who are breaking the law that we know are breaking the law, including a lot of people who are breaking the law through our borders, nothing's happening with. People burning down cities, nothing happens with them. Well, so it's a problem, and a lot of people know that's a problem.
I would encourage you to go look at your favorite website search engine and ask how many convicted felons. Now, a convicted felon is one who has been sentenced.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Just because the jury came back and said you're guilty, you're not a convicted felon until you're sentenced. Go and look how many U.S. congressmen and U.S. senators are convicted felons, how many have massive DUIs and all that kind of stuff, and then tell me there's integrity in the system.
There isn't.
And there isn't.
And that's the problem. And so, again, the yes be yes, and the no be no. Make sure that things are done according to truth rather than someone's political aspiration to wipe somebody else out.
Right, exactly.
And I would say that about President Trump. If he got in office, if people broke the law, I'm talking about really breaking the law. Meaning they did something with the elections, whatever. That's big.
Yeah.
But if they're trying to get somebody for some small little detail, thing, I mean, that's just ridiculous.
It is.
So the other one is keep America safe and secure and prosperous, which sounds awesome. Stand with our allies, stand up against dictators, and lead on the world stage. Again, why haven't you done that?
Right.
We now have
2 wars.
We have 2 wars that started with them in this particular administration, in Israel and over in Ukraine. And those were invasions that took place while Kamala Harris was in office.
Yes. Yep.
And so my thing is, you're not doing it.
You're not doing it.
So start doing it.
The thing with Ukraine, it's near and dear to my heart, but it initially started under Biden.
Yep.
When he didn't do anything when Putin went in and took over the.
You're talking about with Obama
in 2014.
And Biden.
Obama and Biden. Yes. And,
because that's when he invaded then, and then when Trump got in office, he didn't invade at all.
No.
And the minute they went back out of office, he went back in and took another part of Ukraine.
Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting. Invest in America's sources of strength. They're talking about, it's really a motivating thing about our workers are awesome, our businesses are awesome, or, we need to be heading in AI. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't know biblically what we say other than support our people. So, yeah, I would agree with that. And I'd say biblically, you're supposed to support the people of your family and the church family, obviously. And honestly, if they're Americans, we need to be supporting them too. Yeah, of course, we should be supporting each other.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And then support service members, veterans, their families, caregivers, and survivors. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. But my question is, we have illegals in 5-star hotels and servicemen sleeping in the gutter.
And again, there's your yes be yes and no be no. Why didn't you do this already? Right. I think one of the big things for me, because both of us being pastors and deal with death, deal with people who have lost loved ones, the president is very important in this area. Bill Clinton was great at it. I didn't agree with a lot of Bill Clinton stuff, but he showed compassion to people. George Bush, I don't know about senior, but junior was very good about getting with people and literally crying with them. Trump has been, that's what he's been known for. Right. You know, everybody says he's just like an evil emperor, but the man goes and reaches out to people. So we had 13 people, 13 of our military die as we left Afghanistan, which was a horrible thing that we did. It was done horribly. And that was yes be yes, nobody no. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden should say we made a big mistake. Okay, you made a big mistake. Who's accountable? Who should have been fired? No one got fired. It's wrong. So, but the bottom line is that these 13 families, because of a botched process, were killed and a lot of people injured. And neither one of them have gone to meet with these families. And that is a shame. It should never happen. They should have gone over there and been with them, cry with them. Hey, but they knew they made a mistake and they didn't want to have those families who were going to be mad at them. And they said, but what they did is Trump went and met them. And he's been with them the whole time.
All 3 years.
And so, you talk about this guy who's supposed to be some dictator, and when he was in office, he wasn't. But we have people that are in office right now who try to put their own competitors in jail. It's a lot of gaslighting. So again, yes be yes, no be no. Obviously, we have a conservative view.
We do. And, we're open to discussion. If you think we are off on some of this, contact us. Let's have an open discussion. We're not going to argue with you. We're not going to listen to you scream and holler, and we're not going to scream and holler back. But there is room in our society for conversation.
Well, it has to be biblically. We're supposed to have that. Yeah,
and so, and these are the types of conversations you need to have with each other, with your friends, with your family, without getting angry, without, I'm totally right.
Yeah, America needs to have these conversations.
Yes.
Usually when I'm talking to somebody, if it comes to, the real high, abortion issues, homosexuality, sexual sins, which are usually volatile.
Right.
Money, government, the size of government. Usually I just listen to the people first, let them kind of talk everything, find out where they're coming from, and listen to see if there's some good points, because there's always good points around. But I'm going to also say, biblically, this is what I believe. Government should be small. God is our leader, not government. They should be working for us, and that's how it was supposed to be set up. It's supposed to protect the United States, not protect the other countries. They're supposed to protect the United States. It's a big deal. Protect their citizens, and that's pretty much it. Beyond that, you don't need to be in much of anything else. And so for me, God is God, government is not. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too.
And then on the other hand, we already talked with Donald Trump and the Republicans. They're not perfect either. Right? But as we looked at their platforms, there is a huge difference in the platforms. And as far as two parts that are just gigantic, which happens to deal with sexual sin, that is the abortion issue and the LGBTQ group, that we can't agree with. We can listen, but we'll listen by saying, as I've had people come into our church and ask, what would you like to see happen? I go, that's not up to me. That's about God saying he would like you to live a life that's pleasing to him, just like he wants me to do that too. And sexual sin is not part of what he wants. So that's kind of where we're
That's
at today. But today is still our favorite
Still
day.
our favorite day.
Even in politics.
Yep. Thanks for listening to us. This has been David Towner, Sam McKeown. Today is our favorite day. Live intentionally, be very blessed. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to TIMFD. Today is my favorite day. Views, comments, and opinions are those of the host and guest alone, and Dave and Sam are solely responsible for the content of this podcast. TIMFD is produced and directed by Alex Korn. Music is composed and performed by Chuck Ball. Thank you for listening. Have a great day, live intentionally, and be very blessed.